This right here is without a doubt one of the most exciting matchups for 2024. Two well-known and well-loved power punchers go up against each other in a bid to claim glory in the lightweight division. Rolly Romero holds on to the WBA World Super Lightweight title for dear life, seeking redemption for his career after having lost to Gervonta Davis by TKO in 2022. Coming to claim his title is none other than the brutal and berserker-like power puncher Pitbull Cruz, who had been defeated in his previous attempt to claim the title against none other than the man who defeated Rolly Romero. Power puncher versus power puncher. Hungry boxer versus hungry boxer. And there's a championship belt on the line. It's gonna be explosive. It's gonna go down hard. Expect no quarter to be given. This is all that led up to this fight going down, and of course, how such an exciting contest may play out is all up to chance. The competition is as fierce as it is close. Rolly Romero marches on. Rolando Florencio Romero Moreno, known as Rolly Romero, was born on April 28, 1995 in Las Vegas, Nevada. As fate would have it, he hails from a family deeply entrenched in the sport of boxing, with his father and grandfather being boxers. He himself was destined to follow. His father, Rolando Romero Sr., was born and raised in Cuba and took part in its storied boxing history, having competed locally. Romero Sr. migrated to the United States but couldn't establish a boxing career in the country, passing that dream instead on to his son. Now, while the family was based in Las Vegas, the life Romero Jr. had growing up was anything but rosy. The neighborhood they lived in was rough, located in the less savory parts of downtown Las Vegas. He recalls witnessing poverty and going to sleep to the sounds of gunshots in his neighborhood as a child. Nevertheless, he stuck to his guns and continued through his life as a young boy, while also spending time in the boxing gym. He began his fighting journey at the tender age of 9 when he started competing in judo and not boxing. But it wasn't long before Romero Sr. encouraged him to take up boxing gloves and go forward in fighting. As his path forward in life was all set due to heritage, he competed as an amateur successfully. His amateur career consisted of 25 wins and 10 losses. It may have been short, but it served its purpose well in prepping him for the life of a professional boxer. While he failed to qualify for the U.S. National Olympic team, he captured the attention of boxing legend Floyd Mayweather during a sparring bout at the Mayweather Boxing Club due to his focused aggression and energy in fighting. He soon returned to Las Vegas after an experience at the Olympic trials he deemed similar to robbery. After competing locally as an amateur for a few months, an independent decision was made by Romero a year later in 2016 to begin sparring at the Mayweather Boxing Club, with hopes of getting signed to help kickstart his professional career. And that's what happened. Romero made his professional debut on December 2, 2016, scoring a first-round technical knockout TKO victory against David Courtney. He amassed an 8-0 record during the next 3 years, winning all but one of those fights by stoppage. This quickly marked him out as a prospect to watch closely, especially being one of Mayweather's boxing club scions. On April 20 of 2019, he won his fight against Andres Figueroa by a 4th-round knockout. In the same year, he faced Juan Carlos Cardonez and won that fight by a first-round knockout. Not long after that, on February 22, 2020, he faced the undefeated Arturs Amatovs and won the fight by a second-round technical knockout. He succeeded in leaving all of these opponents shaken and soundly defeated. Such a series of victorious performances soon landed him the chance to fight for the WBA interim belt against Jackson Martinez. Martinez, however, proved to be a challenger determined to take him through the entire 12 rounds, refusing to be knocked out. It must be noted that the decision to grant Romero the victory was controversial, with many feeling that Martinez should have been declared the victor. In his defense for the interim title, though, he smashed Anthony Yigit so hard that there could be no further doubt upon Romero's boxing credentials. The victory over Yigit enabled him to contend for the world title proper. Standing in his way was Gervonta Davis. With both fighters being aggressive knockout artists, everyone expected a show of explosions, just as is expected from the upcoming Romero versus Cruz bout. He and Davis explored new grounds in their fight game and played it tactically. It all unraveled in the 6th round, when a moment of error resulting in Romero exposing his head provided the perfect opportunity for Davis to land a brutal left. After such a debilitating defeat, it was another year before Romero could fight. But it all lined up just as he was to fight for the title again, with Ismael Barroso standing in his way this time. He guided the match to a 9th-round TKO victory to stand as the new champion. As of now, Romero has competed in 16 fights, securing an impressive 15 wins and enduring just 1 loss. His knockout ratio is 81.3%, having stopped 13 of his opponents in their tracks. Despite his shock loss to Gervonta Davis, he remains a true beast of the ring, not to be taken lightly. Cruz jumps into the breach. Isaac Jonathan Cruz Gonzalez, known as Pitbull Cruz, was born on May 23, 1998, in Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. His family moved to live in Mexico City, however, where he grew up. Specifically, he grew up in the Magdalena Contreras neighborhood of Mexico City. Just as was the case with his upcoming opponent, his childhood was spent in a family of fighters, with both his grandfather and father being boxers. No doubt encouraged by his father and his grandfather, he started training at the age of 7. But my grandfather was a fighter, and my father was a fighter. I started training at the age of 7. The reason is because I did not want to be just another number or statistic. From the start, I wanted to be someone who shined brightly above the rest. It was indeed only with the backing of such heritage that he could find himself on the path to become above the rest and claim himself as a legend in the making as he is right now. Soon, he found himself competing fiercely as an amateur. The goal was always to be a hard-hitting professional boxer in the end, but it was decided that he must give it his all to become as successful as he could. Indeed, Cruz has had a successful amateur boxing career, winning an impressive 73 out of 85 bouts, with an astonishing 50 knockouts to his name. There's no messing with this kid. It appeared as if he could kill opponents on the spot in the ring, owing to just how ferocious he truly was. From 2010 to 2014, he reigned as the Mexico City champion and participated in 3 Olympic trials. While he couldn't make it to the Olympics, the only thing that soon mattered was when he would finally begin his professional career. That time came in 2015. From 2015 to 2019, very few of his victories ended in decisions. Most instead ended in knockouts or technical knockouts. Within his weight class, it seemed as if Mike Tyson's soul had been infused with that of a young Mexican boxer. The momentum of his fury eventually saw him take fights to the United States and against international opponents. On October 31, 2020, he took on former world title contender Diego Magdaleno and won the fight in just 53 seconds. This was the first fight that caused him to explode onto the scene in the U.S. It was a level-up moment for him. He was only going to see tougher opponents. On March 13, 2021, he faced Jose Matias Romero in a WBA lightweight title eliminator and prevailed by unanimous decision. In quick succession on June 19, 2021, he took on the former WBC super featherweight champion Francisco Vargas and won via wide unanimous decision. This was the victory that was necessary for him to be put in direct contention for the world title. Of course, as fate would have it, standing in his way was none other than Gervonta Davis himself, the same boxer who will go on to deny Rolly Romero an early snatching of the world title. He fared better against Davis, however, losing to the more technically sound but equally ferocious Davis by points. As bitter as a loss as it was, Cruz was not left out of competition for long. His next 3 fights proved to be impressive victories. On April 16, 2022, he knocked down former unified featherweight champion Yuriokis Gamboa multiple times en route to a 5th-round technical knockout victory. He followed this up with the 2nd-round KO against Eduardo Ramirez for the WBC silver light title. The last obstacle before being allowed to contend for the world title again was the formidable Giovanni Cabrera. It was a very close fight, the closest ever fought by Pitbull Cruz. But at last, the split decision victory was given to him, and along with it, the WBC silver lightweight and WBO Latino lightweight belts, ensuring that he is well stacked before becoming world champion. As of now, Cruz has competed in 31 fights, securing an impressive 28 wins, enduring just 2 losses and 1 draw. His knockout ratio is 68%, having stopped 20 of his opponents in their tracks. Fighters compared. Rolly Romero has made his fame being an exciting power puncher to watch, making short work of his opponents with devastating punch combinations. While he fights from a fixed stance, his ability to generate punches of equal power from both hands makes him seem almost ambidextrous. His left hook and left uppercut are just as dangerous as those that come from the right hand. The way he fights is not the most technically sound, nor the most skillful, but we'd argue that being able to successfully work the canvas against skilled opponents with almost nothing but pure rage is a skill by itself. It's worked for him almost flawlessly, and he was maintaining an impressive undefeated streak before facing Gervonta Davis on that fateful day. Since then, he's been noted to have incorporated sophisticated defensive techniques and a calmer countenance to allow for powerful counterpunching. He's also known to be a good counter-puncher and is capable of landing clean shots while moving backwards. Nevertheless, he remains as aggressive as ever, and his fighting style is almost brawl-like. You're constantly on edge to see if an errant punch lands on the referee instead. And this is the same thing that puts the fear of God in many of his opponents. But his upcoming opponent is not to be outdone in ferocity. Pitbull Cruz is also very well known for his aggressive style, except it often appears as if he's able to bring forward more endurance and more explosiveness to his fight game. When he locks onto a target and seizes the opportunity, he'll attempt to smash through the opponent's guards to try and take off the exposed head. He's insistent in his style, but he also makes sure to strategize his approach around taking control of the ring and remaining one step ahead of his opponents. Against Rolly Romero, his comparatively lighter physique may prove to be the tiebreaker if Romero struggles to maintain control of the space in opposition to him. Cruz today stands as arguably one of the fiercest and most energetic boxers, who, much like Romero, puts the fear of God in many of his opponents. Unstoppable force meets immovable object, and the one to win will be the one who can bring out the bigger heart, the better set of skills, and the greater stamina reserves to the show. But what do you think? Can Rolly Romero successfully defend his lightweight belt? Or will Pitbull Cruz steamroll him to continue his comeback in style? Leave us a like and subscribe. We'll see you again when the dust settles on the canvas.